Hello, Ezemy one, and welcome back to Rat's Run. I'm your usual everyday time puzzling rat girl, Ezemy Jika, and today we will be solving Rat Run 7, multiple choice. Experiment 7, black, 17th of July, 1974. I express my concerns that we are introducing too many teleports too quickly, but Elliot assures me that the technology has been rigorously tested for many months. He likes to use the analogy that it's not really that different from sending a fax, but I'm not sure how convinced I am. Rules, we have normal 9x9 Sudoku rules again, and going through the maze, we already know all that. Teleports. Entering a teleport will cause Finks to be instantly transported to the matching colored teleport. From there she can continue her digit. Matching teleports must always have identical digits, but teleports that don't match always have different digits. So every single pair of teleporters will have the same digit, but all individual, um, every different pair of teleports will have different digits from the other pairs. So we'll have, what is it, up to F? So 6 unique pairs of digits for the teleporters. One-way doors, you can only pass through the direction that they're going. The point points to the smaller one. Test constraint. In this experiment, for any two adjacent digits along the correct path, one can be divided by the other to give an exact integer, i.e. one is a multiple of the other. So, we are given a new interesting test constraint to play with, so let's give it a bit more of a closer look. So every digit on the line has to be a multiple or a factor of the two adjacent digits next to it on the line. Well, apart from the one on either end. But that does give us a good starting point, which is 1, which is a factor and multiple of, well, a factor of every number, because you can just multiply any number by 1 and get itself. So we can write down the other digits. This might end up being a little bit messy, but actually, no, I'm not going to write them out in this order. I'm going to write them out in a sensible order. So, the ones that are going to be the most constrained are 7 and 5 because they are primed. They only have themselves and 1 as their multiples. 2 is going to have a lot of factors, or 2 will have a lot of possibilities, namely 4 and 8. 8, 4, 2. 8, 4, and 2 will all be factors of each other. Then we have 6, 3, and 9 on the other end, which with 6 being a multiple of both 3 and 2, and 9 being a multiple of 3 as well. So that's our map for this puzzle. 8, 4, well, 2, 1 and 2 are the numbers with the most connections, while 5 and 7 are the digits with the least connections. It might be worth looking at some chains, but with it laid out like this, they might be a little bit easier to see. Yeah, I think that's fine. So, let's put this over here, and let's get started. Well, I already know all the rules, so let's just hop in. So, to start with, the line will have to go from here to here, and it looks like it might be pretty easy just to get directly down to here. We're going to have to go through one of these two. Well, actually, no, we have to come down to here because this is a dead end. So the path cannot go through there. And with a little bit of luck, well, we can just go straight there and ignore the rest of the puzzle. It'll just be that easy, right? Unfortunately, I don't think it will be that easy. Something tells me it's not going to be quite that easy. So let's look at our diagram. Right, the problem here is that 7 and 5 don't have anywhere to go. Because 7 and 5 can only both connect to 1, which means we cannot have, there is no unique chain that, there is no chain that uses all 9 digits individually. You would have to start with 7 or 5, then go to 1, and then it could go to other digits, but in order to get to the other, so if it started with 7, went to 1, you would have to go to 5 immediately in order to reach 5 at all, but then it doesn't reach any other digits. So these two have to be 5 and 7, and the line has to go through the teleporter D, which actually only has one path through it. It has to go into F, and F has to come out this way. It could go around or it could go straight there. Let's see here. Yeah, 5 or 7 has to go on one of the two ends of the line in this box. If it's here, then this would have to be 1, which doesn't work. So this has to be 1. And then the rest of the chain has to be... Let's see here. What has the least... Well, I think it's going to have to be the 9. Because 9 can only connect to 1 or 3. Well, 1 and 3 in this case. And if the 9 can't go here, so it has to go 9, then 3, 6, 2, 8, 4. And then 4 can connect to 1, 2, or 8. It's not going to be 8 or 1 because these two digits are the same, so it's going to be 2. Then 2. I don't think... This is the only digit that could be 5 or 7. Because 5 or 7 would connect to... If it's in the middle of a line, it connects to 1s on both sides. So it can only go on the end, which would put a 1 here, which is fine. But doesn't necessarily. 2 can't connect to 4 or 8, so it has to be 1 or 6. 1 being the most useful number is helpful, but at the same time, you have to be extremely careful not to misuse it, because you can only have a single 1 in every box. It's a sort of freebie, but you only get 1. So the other digits have to be connected. It does also mean that there has to be a 5 or 7, at least a 5 or 7, and maybe both up here. Actually, wait. Yeah, so if this is a 5 or 7, then this would be a 1, but that means this would also be a 5 or 7, and the 1 next to that would have to be here or here, which doesn't work. So these two digits are indeed 5 and a 7. There has to be a 9 down here. Actually, there has to be a 9 here, and it needs to be in between a 1 and a 3. It could go 2, 6, 3, 1. If we put the 1 here, and there's a 9, say, here, how do we get back from 9 from the section in the top left with the 3s, and then the section down here with the 4 and the 8? It's not possible. We've used 2, and if we use 1, there's nothing connecting the top half to the bottom half. So this has to be 6, 3, 9, 1, and then 8 and 4 in some order. This is also 4 and 8. Let's see, these 3 digits then are, let's see, 2, 3, 6. Yeah, interesting. Ah, this one can't be 8 because 8 is not less than 5 or 7. So it's 4, 8, putting an 8 here. And the path might be able to just go to the left here. It could go, yeah, it could go like 8. Well, it can't go to 4. It would have to go to 1 or 2. Well, it can't go to 1, so it has to go to a 2 on either side. And then if it's a 2, we have 4, 1, and 6 in this spot already. Interesting. That's the problem, because 2 can connect to a lot of digits, but only 1, 2, 4, and 6. So, in fact, this can't be 2, because it would have to connect to another digit, which is not possible. So it has to go to here, and then it has to go above or below. It can't connect to 1, so because of the greater than symbol here, so it has to connect to 6 or 4. It could go like 6. It could go, yeah, it could go 6 and then 3 or 4 and then 1. Yeah, and the 5, oh, that's what it is. The 5 and the 7. Um, I guess one of them could go here if these, no, wait, it can't. The 5 and the 7 have to go down here somewhere, which means the path can't possibly pass through those. So it has to go over. So this is a 6 or 4. This is a 1 or 3. This can be... There has to be a 9 in this part somewhere. The 9 is here. Then it would have to be 3, 9, 1. If the 9 is here, it would have to be 3, 9, 1. So there does have to be a 3 here or here. There has to be a 1 in either of these cells. What other digits are we looking at? We've got 2, we've got 4, 6. Oh, interesting. This A teleporter is actually a little more constrained because it sees this 8 as well. So it can be 4, 5, 7. Well, actually it has to be a 4, right? Because the 5 or 7 would have to... Well, actually, it doesn't matter. It only matters if the path connects to it, and we don't know for sure that it does. Speaking of the path, is it possible to come all the way out to here? I think I need to resolve these digits first. So this has to be 4 or 6. Because the 1 has to go up here next to the 9. This can't be 4, this can't be 7. And the 3 is here, so there is a 3 up here somewhere. Could it be here? Well, actually, if there's a 3 here, if it goes something 193, I guess this could be a 9. What are these 4 digits? They're 3, 9, and 5, 7, right? Well, because we can't have a 1 here, this can't be 5 or 7. These are 5 and 7. These are 3 and 9. It's possible to have a 9 here. I think it is. Yeah, and it's not going to be able to touch either of these cells, so it has to go directly into the teleporter. Because if it went this way, these digits would both have to be 1. Oops. So 3 or 9, that could be... Can't be a 2, so that'd be 1, 3, 9, 6? Yeah. There has to be an 8 up here. And it can't be here, so there's an 8 there. It can't be the E teleporter because it already is being seen by that one. There has to be a 2 down here. Could be anywhere, I guess, except for there. That's not really anywhere, is it? Let's see. These digits are 1, 3, 6, 9, 4. Yeah. This has to be 1, 6. Oh. Is this? Um, Could be 1. There's a 2. There's a 3. Could be 4. Um, where's 5? Oh, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 4, or 6. Interesting. This is 1, 3, 4, 6, 9. Well, it has to be a digit that can go next to a 9. So it has to be... Can't be 4 or 6. It's 1, 3, or 9. Right, that does put a 1, 3 triple here, but we already knew that. Or 1, 3, 9 triple, rather. Where does the 4 go on this section of the line? Because the 4 can only go next to a 1 as well. So the 4 has to go on either end, and it has to be next to a 1. So that means if the 1 is in the middle here... So let's say the 1 is here. So it would have to go 1, 3, 6 in that direction. 6, 3, 1, 9, 3... What? And then we're left with 6, 3, 1, 9, 3, and we're left with 9 and 4, which don't work. So it can't be here, leaving us a 3, 9 pair in this box, putting a 1 here. Which means this can't be 4, because none of its multiples are there. So this has to be the 6, that's the 4. 6 can't go next to 9. So that has to be 3, 9, 3, 9 in that order. These digits are 1, 2, and 4. And that puts a 6 up here as well. And now we're going to have a choice of multiple teleporters. Interesting. So 5 goes here. It could be either of those digits. But we have to go to exactly one of these teleporters in order to get to the central area again and then go to the cupcake. Something tells me it's not going to be C, because that looks way too easy. And it can't be A, because there's no way to step from this cell to this. Well, actually, no. It could be 4, 2, 6, and then we escape. Okay. That could work. That could work. Let's see. These 5 digits are 3, 5, 79. This can't be 3 or 9. This has to be greater than 5. This can't be 3 or 9. This can't be 5 or 8. 5, 7, 8. That's concerning. This digit also needs to be greater than 5, so it's 6, 7, 9, 6 or 7. Oh, so that means this is 5? Yes, that's 5. Because that's the only digit less than 7, yeah. Well, that's one of the primes out of the way. What other digit goes in this column? It's 1, 2, no. 4, 5, 7, 8? Yeah. And the 8 has to go here or here. But it can't go here because of this one. These paths seem pretty unconstrained. It's a little strange. Well, let's look at this teleporter. It can be... Sees a 1, sees a 2. Oh, right, there's a 4 there. So then it can be a 5. No, it can't be 5. There's a 6, 7, or 9. 3, 7, 9. Again? Huh. So if the path goes up, it leaves out a 7. So it would just be like 6, 3, 9, which is fine. This teleporter seems pretty unconstrained. It can't be a 1 because of the inequality. Sees a 2, this can be 3. Sees a 4, 5, sees 6, 7, 9. So the 6 can only... Wait a second. Why? There's no 1? Up here? There has to be a 1. One of these two cells? How was that? How did that work? So this is seen by 1 here. This is seen by 1 here. And this is greater than... Huh. So they're all seen by different... One is taken out of them by completely different means each time. But it does mean that there has to be a 1 here and up here. So there could be a divide by 1, and then it could just go to any other digit if it goes to the side. It's like it could be 6, 1, 9, 3. There's also the constraint that every pair of teleporters is a different digit, but none of the candidates are even any of the digits we already have. Actually, there has to be a 2 down here as well, so this is a 1, 2 pair. Actually, that's a naked 2 in this box anyways. Okay, so that means it can't go to the left because this 2... Well, actually, no. 6, 2, 8, 4. That would be fine. And as this way, it could be a divide by 1. And then 6, 3, 9. That's not very helpful. Well, okay, this digit has to appear down here. And they all do appear in this column of this box. 7, 3, and 9. What are these 4 digits? These are 4, 5, 7, 8. There's a 5 in this box, so this has to be the 5. That's a 7. There's 5, 7. Pulls a 7 out of these, which pulls a 7 out of those. Huh. Interesting. That 5 has been there for a little while, hasn't it? 4, 7, 8, 9. 4, 7, 8, 9. 4, 7, 8 quad in this box? So these are, what, 1 and 3? Yeah. Yeah, because of the 1's here, and the 3... I guess, 3 isn't greater than 5, so... So that pulls a 3 out of this box. So this is a 9. That's a 5. That's a 4. Huh. That's a 5. That's a 4. 8, 5, 7, 5. 5 is greater than 4. Let's put a 7 and 8 and a 9. A 7. A 7 is on the cupcake. Uh-oh. That means it has to connect to a 1. Um, Yeah, there has to be a 1 in this column. There could be a 1 anywhere in this box, really. Let's look at this. Could still be... There has to be a 7 here, which will block off... Well, actually, it can't go to this one, because it would have to be 1, 5, 1, but it can't. So it can't go that way. So it has to come to here or here. If it goes to here, it would have to be 4, 2, 6, but there's no way for it to get back this way. There's no... The 3 and the 6 can't connect to any of these digits. Only the 2. So it can't go that way either. It has to go up to here, which means it connects to this teleporter and has to somehow wind its way over to this 7. This 9 has to connect to a 1 or a 3. Well, it has to connect to a 3 in one of these two cells, because if it goes 9, well, I guess it can go diagonally still. Oh, right. This sees 1s already. So there's a 1 in one of these two cells. Because if there's a 1 here, it blocks off this, which blocks off the cupcake entirely. These digits are 3, 6, 7, 8. Can't be a 3 there. These 4 digits are 1, 2, 4, 7. Ugh. These are 1, 2, 3, 8. These 3 are 1, 7, 9. I guess, actually, it could go from itself. It could go from a 7 to a 7. All of these digits can connect to themselves, because technically, um, any two digits, one can be divided by the other to give an exact integer. So if they're two of the same digit, then they're... What is that? Dividend? Divisor? No, the divisor... I don't know what you call that. But if you divide two of the same number, it results in an exact integer, and that integer is 1. Let's see, these are 2, 3, 4, 7. Can't be a 3. Well, no, there can't be a 3 there. Because if there's a 3 here, there's nothing for the 9 to connect to. Although, if there's a 7 here, well, it could go 7, 1, 9. It could go through the divide by 1. So I guess technically that doesn't mean there has to be a 1 in one of these two cells. What else? When it goes to a 3, what will it have to connect to? Well, the path will have to touch this cell at the very least, because it can't enter this one, and it can't go through from here to here either. So it has to come through here. It can go like this, or it could go like that. But either way, it's this cell is a bit of a bottleneck, but it's not especially constrained either. Maybe it's just worth filling in these columns. 1, 3, 4, 6, 9. And these are 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eee. Those are not as constrained as I would like them to be. But it seems like the line is the only thing that's going to save us here. There has to be a 5. Wait a second. There's a 5 here. Okay. Um, what else? What else? There has to be a 9 here and here. That doesn't help. Huh. Sevens. There has to be a 7 here. Oh wait, I forgot about that digit. That's a 3. That putting that down probably is going to do a lot because yes, it does see these two cells, which means the 9 has to connect to this 3. Whoops, and it has to connect to a 1 or a 6. And the only place for a 6 is here, and the 6 has to connect to a 2. 7, 6, 8, 7, 1, 8, 7. Hmm. And it has to connect to a 2 because there's a 3 and there's no 1 here. So that puts a 4 here. Puts a 2 there. Pulls a 2 out of the rest of this box. 1, 4, puts a 2 there. Whoops. 2, 3, 6, some order. And when it connects to the 2, it can either go to a 4 or an 8. It could be 4, 1, 2, something. Could go 8, 1, 8. I don't know. Well, could it connect to an 8 here? Because it would have to go this way or that way. And 8 can only connect to 4, 2, and 1. Yeah, it could go 2, 8, 1, and then whatever else. Ah, I see. The 7 can only connect to this 7 itself. The funny equal thingy. So it has to come down through here, because this 7 can't connect to that cell again, because it's still a 7. So that's 1, whoops, 1, 9, 3. Well, I guess this could technically still also be 1, but it's not going to because that's an 8, which means it has to connect to a 1. That's a 3, 7, 4, 6, 9. Let's finish the rest of this line here. So 3, 1, 8, 2, 1, 4, 2, 6. There we go. 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 3, 6, 2. Yippee! 4 teleports used today. Did we actually? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess so. Interesting. Whoops. Although initially startled by the noise of the teleports, Sphinx quickly became adept at using them. Heart rate returned to normal by the time the cupcake was reached. Teleport B overheated after use. Further calibration required. Okay. B is the orange one? I guess it is a 9, so maybe that's why. But until next time, where we solve discontinuous. もうその時間でしょおやすみ